Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Lamplight City. And we are here in the shop of Mr. Solomon, guys. We're still trying to track down Linda Walker because out of all of our suspects, she definitely has the biggest motivation to kidnap baby Charles. So let's go ahead and chat with this gentleman and see what information we can get.
Mr. Solomon?
Yes, sir. How may I be of service? Oh, let me guess. You're looking to replace that old coat. It looks like it's got quite a few stories it could tell me.
You should listen to the man, Miles. He clearly knows what he's talking about.
Not today, I'm afraid. There's still a few more stories it has left to tell. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Questions? Very well, but if they aren't about tailoring, I don't know how much help I'll be.
I guess we'll see.
This is a nice shop you have. I never even knew it existed.
Well, better late than never, I always say. Life has a funny way of always taking us where we need to go in the end.
True. Although I think it's easy to miss out on things from time to time.
Oh, of course. It's easy to overlook the details, but in the grand scheme of things, you'll end up where you need to be. And in this case, you ended up here. So, please, feel free to take a look around. Let me know if you find anything you like.
I found this piece of torn fabric with your emblem on it. Can you tell me anything about it?
Yes. Brown, wool, houndstooth. This is from one of the more popular jackets I sell.
And here I thought my ability to name ales within 5 seconds of tasting them was good. This fella has me beat.
Do you have any of them in stock currently?
Well, sure, I've got one on the display dummy over there.
Is there any way you can tell me who you've sold them to?
Ooh, I don't think so. I've sold at least 20 in the past month. As I said, it's a very popular style.
I figure he'd be keeping records at least.
Is there anything you can tell me about this button?
Looks like it's made of wood. Not very well crafted either. Definitely not from one of my products.
How did you get into this business, Mr. Solomon?
I was always good with a needle and thread. When I was a boy in Poland, I would help my mother with her sewing. Then, during the war with Russia, I fixed uniforms and stitched up wounds. Not long after that, I moved to Vespuccia, settled here in New Britannia. My first shop was in the Chum, but thankfully I was very successful and was able to move to Lyon. I won't lie to you, this location is much, much nicer. It's refreshing to not have to step over drunken hobos when I open and close the shop.
Oh, but that's part of the charm of owning a business in the Chum.
Not much else to say beyond that. My business is my life.
You seem very dedicated to your craft.
That's right. You won't see any of that newfangled steam-powered nonsense in here. Everything is done by hand and with care. I use only the finest quality materials and stitch every thread myself. And that's the way it's going to stay as long as I'm around. It's worked for 45 years. There's no reason to change as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds like a plan to me, sir.
Do you by chance employ a seamstress named Linda Walker?
I do, yes.
Is she here?
No, she has the day off today, but she'll be in tomorrow.
Would it be possible to have her address?
Begging your pardon, but why should I give it to you?
Ooh. Well, let's go ahead and be honest. He seems to be an honest gent.
I'm a private investigator, and it's crucial to this case.
Well, as I said, she'll be here tomorrow. You can ask her then.
It really is a matter of some urgency.
I'm sure it can wait a day.
But
If it were really that urgent, I would think the police would be involved, not a private investigator. I'm not obligated to tell you anything, so please, let's move on before I lose my patience.
Well, maybe we'll lose ours first.
please, Mr. Solomon, it's extremely important that I get Mrs. Walker's address.
So you said, but why should I?
Okay, I guess he's going to forget what we just said.
I know I said I was a private investigator before, but there's a more delicate reason I want to speak with Mrs. Walker.
Oh?
Her son, Alexander, and mine were schoolmates. I just found a book he lent my son, and I wanted to return it. I've been trying to track her down for ages, and only just found out where she worked.
Oh, I see. It was a terrible tragedy what happened with her boy and her husband. I know how private Mrs. Walker is, but I'm sure she would appreciate you returning her son's book. All right. She lives at 403 St. Agnes Street.
Remember when you couldn't even bring yourself to trick people into thinking their shoelaces were untied? You've come a long way, Miles.
I'll be taking my leave of you now, Mr. Solomon.
Very good.
May have to come back for the coat. But I like the old coats have character. You know what I mean? Solomon stitching. Walker residence.
Some people would call that humming and hissing the sound of progress. I'd call it annoying.
Yeah, having the water heater outside. Hell's bells.
This machine is quiet. It's already gone up considerably in my estimation.
You could learn a thing or two from it, Bill.
SB plus CS. Door, front door, mailbox.
It says here that Linda Walker is in the upstairs apartment, and someone named Douglas Emafiel is under the stairs.
Let's go have a chat with Linda.
Nobody home. Now what?
Yeah, we'll try downstairs then.
What? Who are you? Are you from the Steamworks?
Afraid not, sir.
Damn. Oh well, what can I do for you?
Like George Carlin.
Do you know Linda Walker?
Of course. She lives upstairs. Who's asking?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find Linda so I can speak with her.
What's your business with her?
I'm afraid that's private.
Well, she's out right now. You'll have to come back another time if you want to visit her.
Have you got any idea when Mrs. Walker will be back?
Not for a few days. She told me she was going away for a bit. Ah, that reminds me. She asked me to water her plants while she was gone. Just need to remember where I put the spare key.
Now that's interesting because she told Solomon that she was going to be in to work the next day.
Did you say something about having a spare key to Mrs. Walker's apartment?
Sure, I'm her landlord. I look after the place when she's gone. Got a bit of a green thumb, that one, so she puts me in charge of watering her plants. The trip up is a bit of a pain, though. My hips aren't what they used to be.
I don't want to do the private detective thing.
Why did you think I was from the Steamworks?
Because I contacted them a few days ago when my boiler broke, and nobody has come to repair it yet. I should have known better. Those fools always take their time, if they even bother showing up at all. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in here with nothing but cold water. If I catch pneumonia and die, you'll know who to blame.
Well, I guess we don't have much of a choice.
I'm a private detective, and it's of the utmost importance that I get that key from you.
Right. Private detective. I don't have to do anything you say. You're not really the law. So nice try. But I'm not betraying Mrs. Walker's trust so easily.
He says that now, but I'm willing to bet he'd do it if it benefited him in some way.
Sorry to bother you, sir. I'll just be on my way.
So angry.
Miles, what are you doing? You don't know the first thing about steam engine repair.
It can't be that hard to work out.
If you're serious about getting it fixed, I'd suggest looking for someone who knows about this sort of thing first. But if you just want to charge in blindly, be my guest.
Yeah, I actually don't. You got the door, the water tank. Who would know how to take care of water heater? Let's see, we got the lending office, Harris Construction Yard, Spectre Society wouldn't have anything, Solomon Stitching wouldn't, Harris Residence wouldn't. He may, because we got a heater right here.
I've got some more questions, Mr. LeFay.
Go ahead, then.
Do you know anything about fixing a steam boiler?
Bit of an odd question, isn't it?
I thought perhaps you might have occasion to fix your heater.
I do, but when the occasion comes, I usually just call a repairman, or someone from the Steamworks.
Fair enough. I think that's all for now.
Well, let's head out to the construction yard then. Maybe Arthur here has a chance to
Busy with
redeem
his
him.
protest.
Oh,
Best to leave him alone for now.
Lads, we will not just stand.
I was hoping to give him a chance to redeem himself. I guess I was mistaken. Maybe Adelaide has something.
I'm here.
Welcome home.
Maybe she has a contact.
Addie?
What do you need, dear?
Addie, you wouldn't happen to have any manuals on repairing steam engines in your library, would you?
Thinking of changing careers?
No, there's just a boiler that needs repairing and I need to figure out how to do it.
A boiler? What kind of engine is it?
I'm not sure, but it had Whitney 200 embossed on the side.
Oh, of course. That's one of the most common steam engines around, used in practically everything. In fact, the player piano at the Firkin and Fryer had one, and that thing was always going out of alignment. If that's all that's happened with this one, I know how to fix it. Used to have to do it all the time.
Adelaide Fordham, you are just full of surprises.
She's awesome.
Where is this boiler?
Not terribly far. It's a townhouse on St. Agnes in Livingston.
Let's go then. I could use some fresh air.
Hopefully we'll have less racists this time.
Not quite a player piano, but it shouldn't be too tough. Would you like me to walk you through it, or would you prefer I fix it myself?
You know what? Let's have a bonding moment.
Please, tell me what I need to do.
All right, let's take a closer look. Right, the first thing you'll want to do is open up the firebox door and light that coal on fire. And it'll be a good idea to open the engine hatch too, so you can keep an eye on it.
Okay.
That was easy enough. What's next?
Now you want to open the flue and close the fire door so the water in the tank starts boiling. Once that happens, steam will enter the dome, and that big pressure indicator will start going up. Assuming the steam valve is completely shut, of course.
And if it isn't?
Then the pressure will be transferred into the engine and the small indicator will go up. You want to use the valves to balance out the pressure and get just the right amount into the engine before starting it up.
And what is the right amount?
If I remember correctly, it was 3 on the small gauge. Less than that and the engine won't start. Any higher will tear the thing apart.
All right, here goes nothing.
There's the starter valve, so we need to get it right there in the green. To the flue. Close the door.
These pipes are connected to the flue. They must heat up the water in this overgrown tea kettle.
Whoa. Okay. Open the door some. So maybe we can we put out the fire now? Oh, we use the valve. I see. Turn valve left.
It won't go any further in that direction.
Turn valve right. Okay. Small valve. Small valve. And start.
Nice work, Miles. Maybe if the private investigator thing doesn't work out, we can start our own engine repair service. Boilers are a lot like people, you know. They need to let off steam occasionally, or else they explode. You'd do well to remember that, dearest. Anyway, I need to be off for my appointment with Mrs. Lapone. I'll see you tonight.
Our wife is awesome. Hope nothing bad happens to her. Okay, give me one sec, guys. Alright, well now that the boiler is fixed, this guy will be a little bit more inviting.
Yes? What is it?
I fixed the boiler for you.
What? Are you serious? It's pretty pathetic when some yahoo off the street does a better job than the people paid to do this sort of thing. I owe you, friend.
Might I take you up on that offer and get that spare key to the apartment?
Oh, right. You said you were a private detective, didn't you? Did Mrs. Walker do something wrong? Is she in trouble?
I'm not entirely sure yet, which is why I need to take a look inside her apartment.
I see. Well, I wouldn't normally do this, but you did me a great service by fixing the boiler. I can't just give you the spare key, but I can let you into the apartment.
That'll be just fine. Thank you.
Yeah, he'll cover himself, which is understandable. Wow.
What in the ether?
Cripes, did a tornado come through this place or what?
Looks as though she definitely left in a hurry. I wonder if she planned on ever coming back.
I'll be waiting for you in the kitchen, Mr. Fordham. Just let me know when you're done looking around.
Torn apart. She took most everything. Well, it doesn't appear she had much to take.
Trash pile. Wallpaper bulge. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe there's something hidden there.
And the books she left behind are all trashy romance novels. Why wouldn't she take those? They're clearly the best ones. I thought my apartment was messy. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to have my fill of plants and flowers. There's a handwritten note here. Valerian mixed with chamomile, sedative effects, deep sleep.
Seems Mrs. Walker's an amateur herbalist.
Maybe not so amateur. I'd love to see the look on Mrs. Davis's face if she knew it wasn't a spirit that possessed her. In fact, let's go tell her, so I can see it.
You've gotten fairly misanthropic in your death, Bill.
Have I? I hadn't noticed.
Clue added. Mm-hmm.
These will make great evidence in Linda's trial.
Okay. Well, I want to take a look at this wallpaper bulge. Oh, wait, we can check the trash pile again.
You're actually going to dig through that mess? I sure hope it's worth it.
Solomon stitching. Saltpeter solution. Mm-hmm. The devil lives in the post office. Receipt.
A receipt with yesterday's date. One-way train ticket to Pierre in Lorraine. Departed this afternoon.
Thought she could get away easy, it seems. Well, I hate to disappoint her.
Excellent. Okay, is there anything else that we need to...
A receipt with yesterday's...
Thought she...
I guess that might be it.
That bit of torn wallpaper looks almost deliberate.
Yes, indeed. What we got?
What do you know? She hid a book behind the wallpaper. Looks like a journal.
April 5th. I don't believe it. Can it be true? At tonight's meeting, I struck up a conversation with Henrietta. Charles Harris was born the day Alexander died, and he has blue eyes. I know I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but this is too perfect to be a fluke. To be sure, I need to find something of Alexander's appropriate for an infant. Maybe his old bear? Charles loved Barney, April 20th. Henrietta told me she's never seen him react with such joy to any of his other playthings. There's no doubt now in my mind. Charles Harris is the reincarnation of my beloved Alexander. At last we can be together again. At last I can seek his forgiveness. I just need to find a way to take him from his false parents without getting dear Henrietta in trouble. August 24th. I had a nightmare again last night. Alexander's cries of, "Why did you do it, Mother?" were nearly too much to bear. When I have him again, I can finally explain that I couldn't do anything to stop him. Thomas was a monster, and I was at my wit's end. Dear Samuel had helped me so much, and there was no turning back once he had consumed the tainted pie. How was I to know Alexander's friend would take ill and he would arrive home early? Oh, wow. Watching my boy share the poisoned meal with his father was the worst moment of my life. I must get him back. October 6th, so she was responsible. Finally, after months of thinking, I have a plan. Samuel's instruction on the nature of plants has been the key. I'll visit Henrietta tonight at the Harris residence and prepare everything. It must look as though a burglar entered the nursery and tore his coat. In 2 nights, I'll have my baby again.
Well, this is pretty damn incriminating.
It's a smoking gun.
I'll say. Now we just need to figure out how she managed to drug Mrs. Davis.
Which we found out.
Oh, we've got you now, Linda. Thought you could be clever and get away with the baby, did you?
Bill?
Well, you thought wrong. With Fordham and Legere on the case, the only thing you're getting is a one-way trip to jail.
Bill?
And the worst part is how sloppy she was. I mean, really, she couldn't think to pick up a button? She might as well have left a signed confession in the crib for all the good it did her.
Bill, would you just shut up, for God's sake? Huh? Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's just fine. I just stubbed my toe on the bed frame.
You ought to be more careful, Mr. Fordham.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, Miles. You know how I get when we're close to solving a case.
You always do this. I need to concentrate, and I can't hear myself think with you yapping away.
Right. Sorry. I'll keep it to myself.
Thank you.
But you have to admit, she really would have saved us the trouble if...
Bill.
Right. Not another peep. As you were.
Bill the voice actor for Bill sounds a little bit at times like Mark Ruffalo.
Well, at least that painting cheers the place up a little bit. It's a boy. Can't be more than 7 or 8 years old. If that's Linda's son, why would she leave this behind?
Because she thinks she's got the real thing again.
Ah, okay.
Nice patterns. I wonder if Linda makes all her own clothes. A fairly recent model. Linda must have spent a good portion of her wages on it.
Well, I think we're in good shape here. Now, do we go ahead and tell Henrietta about what happened?
I hope you were able to find out what you needed.
Yes, thank you for your cooperation.
It says here that Linda
All right. Let's go ahead and do that. Bill suggested it, so...
Hello again, Mr. Fordham.
Oh, looks like we can break some news to her.
I have some questions for you, Mrs. Davis.
All right.
Mrs. Davis, where did you get the tea you drank on the night of the kidnapping?
From my own private supply. I drink a blend of hibiscus and elderberry. It clears the mind and puts me more in tune with the spirits.
Did it taste off to you?
No. Why do you ask?
Because I think your tea may have been drugged.
Wait, are you saying?
I believe Mrs. Walker used her own herbs to drug your tea, knowing you'd drink a cup the following evening. She then snuck into the house after you'd fallen asleep and took the child.
Oh, my word, I never would have thought.
I know, Mrs. Davis. But don't worry, I'm doing everything I can to find her.
Oh, may the spirits guide you, Mr. Fordham.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, I'd say we have everything we need to prove it was Linda who drugged Mrs. Davis's tea and took the child. And we know where she's going, too. Upton will want to know about this as soon as possible.
Yeah. Suspect added. Well, let's go ahead and do it.
I'll be going now, Mrs. Davis.
May the spirits guide your path.
Knowing Miles, he'll probably go get a drink after that and heed her advice.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
Bam. The thing about Devons is that we got that ransom letter after we talked to him. You know what I mean? So he saw that was time to kind of jump while the fire was hot. Malcolm, no. Linda, obviously all the evidence points, but I thought it was interesting that we got the ransom note after we had talked to Devons the first time.
It was Linda Walker.
Who is she?
A seamstress who befriended the Harris family nanny. She took the child because she believes he's the reincarnation of her deceased son, whom she accidentally poisoned.
My God.
You'll find a journal explaining her motive at her apartment, as well as the plants she used to drug Mrs. Davis.
But what about the broken window in the nursery?
All part of a false crime scene she set up to draw our attention away from her.
Excellent work, Miles. Did you manage to find out where Mrs. Walker is now?
Yes. I found a receipt for a one-way train ticket to Pierre, which departed this afternoon.
Fantastic. We can send a telegram to the train station and have her arrested upon arrival. You've done extremely well, Fordham. Snelling could only hope to have a detective as good as you again.
You flatter me.
Then I'd better stop before your head gets any bigger. All right, Miles. I'll go through the proper channels and report your information as an anonymous tip. And, of course, I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan Fund to get you proper compensation for your work.
Huzzah!
For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Welcome to Lorraine. An awfully cute baby you got there.
Oh, thank you, sir. This is my son, Alexander.
Alexander. That's a good name. Strong name.
Yes, thank you. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in a bit of a hurry and I need to get to my hotel.
Of course. I won't keep you any longer, Mrs. Walker.
Thank you. Wait. How did you know my name?
I didn't. It was a lucky guess. But now, seeing as I know your name, allow me to tell you mine. I'm Sheriff Zeke Dollarhide. Linda Walker, you are under arrest for the kidnapping of Charles Harris. Surrender the child and come with me.
No, you've got it all wrong. This is my son. This is my Alexander.
Ma'am, please don't make this difficult. Come along to the station and we'll get this all sorted out.
Give you a nice cup of coffee and give you a sit down. Wrong side of the tracks.
Addie, are you home?
Still at her appointment, it would seem. You know, Miles, I have to say, I'm proud of you.
Why's that?
It's because you actually listened.
So does this mean you'll keep quiet until morning?
I said I was proud of you. I didn't say you were getting a reprieve.
Then I need to figure out how I'm going to sleep through the night without the soporific.
You worry about that too much, Miles. You can sleep when you're dead.
You don't ever seem to.
That's because I slept quite enough when I was alive.
In any case, I need to clear my head. The best way to do that after a case was always going for a drink at the Angel.
The Angel? But you haven't been there since...
Since you died. But perhaps getting back into old routines will help.
Perhaps. It would be nice to see old Patrick again at the very least. Then it's settled. A drink or two at the Angel, for old time's sake.
What could go wrong? Guess we're about to find out.
I have to say, it's been a real pleasure having you back, Miles. I was worried about you.
I appreciate your concern, Patrick. The past few months have been a bit rough, but it's good to be back in familiar territory.
Miles, can I ask you something?
What is it?
Well, it may be none of my business, and you can feel free to tell me to stuff it.
Enough with the preamble, Patrick. Just ask.
I know you quit the force, but why are you still working as a private investigator? Why not leave all that detecting stuff behind?
So this is the fallen angel.
It's all I know. My grandfather was a cop, my father was a cop, so I became a cop. That's just how it went.
Oh, I hear ya. I come from 3 generations of butchers myself, but I broke the streak because I can't handle the sight of blood.
If only that had been true in my case.
Now then, will you be wanting another drink?
I'm not sure. I've already had 2. I should probably be getting... Wait a minute. Patrick, do you hear something?
No, Miles. I don't hear anything.
Exactly.
Neither do I. Another gin, if you please.
Coming right up.
Oh, yeah, that... Oh, Fordham. Ominous.
I must have taken a wrong turn back there. Hopefully Addie won't hear me come in.
Shadowy figure. The way home? Just be cool. Walk by him. Or chat.
Excuse me, sir. Could you spare a shilling?
Here you are.
Apologies, but I'm all out of coins. Perhaps next time.
Spent them all at the pub, didn't you? I should have guessed.
I beg your pardon?
Just look at yourself. I may be a beggar, but even I feel sorry for you.
You? I know you.
Yes, that's right. I'm your biggest failure.
What are you talking about?
Come now, Miles, you're not completely stupid. You think finding and catching me is going to make things better?
Oh, wow.
Yes, I do. I owe it to Bill, and that's enough to make it worth doing.
That's very touching. But you need to face reality. Let's say you do find me, and this grand chase finally ends. What do you do the next morning? You still have a dead partner, no real job. Your wife knows you've been keeping things from her. Even if you solve 100 cases, it won't relieve that empty feeling inside.
What's your point?
I'm all you've got, Miles. Once I'm gone, there'll be nothing left. So just admit it. You don't want to find me. Not really.
Bad dreams?
You could say that. My head. How many drinks did I have last night?
You're asking the wrong person. I was out after the first one.
It seems Miss Maxwell was right about the effects of spirits. Go figure.
Yeah, well, let's not make a habit out of it, all right?
How about just one gin? So it's kind of like a Batman Joker or Maev Illidan kind of thing where there's always that question of what's going to happen when you actually catch me. You're not going to have anything because I've become your life, which is kind of an interesting dichotomy, especially in Fordham's case. But that was another case solved, guys. Linda was caught red-handed with the baby in tow, and hopefully everything's going to be well on that front. And we will go ahead and end the episode here and see what the fallout from Miles's drinking binge is going to do. I'm sure Adelaide is so pleased. But if you guys liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.